girl Diamond. I'm back with my all-new review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Forgive the background noise. That's my washing machine. But let's get into it. So we start off with Marlo. Marlo is building up her home, and she invited Sheree and Kenya to give some advice. But she shades them when they pulled up. She said one took 20 years to build her home, and the other one is still building. Fine, Marlo. Fine, but you need their help because they know what they're doing. You don't know what you're doing. So she wants to learn from their success and not their mistakes. So her contractor was able to take off 1,500 square foot off her home, maybe to give her a better deal. But Candy asked her 3 weeks ago, how much is the whole entire base of the home? How much is it to build? She didn't want to tell them how much. I'm like, okay, Marlo, don't tell them. So basically, she'll have a lot of big closets for herself, for the boys, and main floor will be hers, and then the other floor will be the boys. But to be honest, the way that she wants things to be designed, she wants to live in a shoebox. Have a shoebox of a room and a department store for her closet. I said, what's the point of doing that? You might as well go ahead and build you a master bedroom where you can have the entry of your walk-in closet. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to separate having to live with nothing but a bed here and a department store closet? I guess. But when Kenya was talking to the contractor, she was knowing her stuff. Kenya knows a lot about home renovation. She knows a lot about your homes sells more modern type of homes, and all of the floor plans were original. I'm gonna look at you, Kenya, getting your HGTV on. I love that. So after that, they have a small conversation about what's been going on. Well, apparently, Marlo had to move further out. She's not in Buckhead. She's in Decatur because her income can't afford Buckhead because you guys keep saying, I'm so rich. Kenya and Sheree was like, girl, no, don't do that. You were the one who said you were rich. No, that's what you guys keep saying. You keep saying I'm so rich. But apparently, I'm not that rich. I got to live out here. Kenya said, girl, don't come at me with that. Because that's some bullshit right there. Don't come at me with that. I'm not going to do this with you. And it flashed back to her late archive event, which was that strawberry dress. 2 things to know about me. I love money and I love fashion, okay? So basically, you ain't going to come at us for what you've already announced. You always talk about money, Marlo. That's what you always do. And if you're not talking about money, you're talking about somebody else's fashions. So they're talking about New York. What's going on in New York? Marc, Kenya. Are you going to see Marc when you're up there? No. I'm just going to drop out Brooklyn and be on my merry way. She asked Sheree, will we be seeing Tyrone? Yeah. He said he's going to come. He wants to meet you guys. Okay, cool. So Tyrone is on house arrest. And I believe he has an ankle monitor on. That he has to get permission from his PO to travel to New York because he can't travel no further than a 100-mile radius. And she really wishes for him to meet her friends because she's rode for this man for many, many years. Yes, you have. So how does Sheree feel about going to New York with Drew? She said, honestly, I'm going to have a good time. But at your daughter's party, I believe that Drew wanted drama. Okay? And I see that she wants to be deflecting. She wants to keep drama up. So that's where she was on. But Kenya said, well, she has a lot of problems going on in her household. But I didn't like the fact that she came up to you at that party. I didn't like that she walked up on you. While my daughter's over there skipping and laughing, not paying much attention. But that's where it ended from there. We see Candy and Ty. They have a nice walk. And there's catching up about what's going on with the play. How Candy had to really get a lot of people to buy tickets so they can see the play. It's a really good play. And considering she did ask her girls to come with her to New York to support, she figured why not make it a couples trip so Ty can invite the boys in because the women seem to get along better when their husbands are around. Yes, they be on their best behavior. So while they are in New York, Ty said, why don't we check out the New Jersey crib so you can see. Candy still is not comfortable with that. That's one of his places he had with an ex. But he said, it's not about that anymore. I'm not with that person. I'm with you. This could be a place with our kids. And we could use this when we want to travel, especially when we travel to New York and we ain't got to worry about a hotel. We can stay here. Now, I don't know why Candy finds it a problem That's the one thing for me, and I really don't like it. But she wants to just go to a hotel, mess it up, and leave. Don't worry about it. But that's a waste of money, Candy. Why would you want to waste money for a overnight stay or a 2-night stay at a hotel when you can have your own place, where you ain't got to worry about paying nothing? And then she wants to say, "Where's my key?" He said, "You can get a key. I would never tell you not to have a key." Like, Candy, you really are trying to make it a problem about this condo. And it just goes back and forth with Ty won't compromise from Candy because he does everything you want him to do. Why can't you just be open about this? You know what I'm saying? So then we see Drew. Drew is preparing to do marriage counseling with Ralph and her 4 assistants. Don't know for what purpose. Anthony is still working there, but he's on probation. What is probation in the Pittman household? It's just like a corporation. When there is a staff that's not doing their work, they're on notice. If your work don't improve, you will be terminated. Anthony's work hasn't improved when he decided to tell you about Sheree's business, and it backfired when he told Sheree your business. That should have been termination right there. So Dr. Ken, they see him face to face and just want to know how's everything been going. How have y'all been improving to get back into a better place in your marriage? So we're starting off with the dinner. How Ralph wanted to be a dinner where Drew was treated like a queen, right? So he asked Drew, "How did you feel about that dinner?" "I felt like a queen. It was really super special." Now, I didn't like the fact that the therapist interrupted her because she really wanted to get it all out, but the therapist interrupted her. Then he wanted to hear Drew's side. "Why did you decide to have this dinner?" I thought Ralph would answer, "Because I needed to fix my marriage. I was fucking up in a lot of areas." No, he didn't do that. What he did was say it very dryly, "I wanted her to feel like a queen." And I have no idea, but Dr. Ken was just upping Ralph. All right, respect. I love that. So he wanted her to think the night was very special. He wanted her to pretty much, appreciate the night. And she said, I did appreciate the night. I said the night was really, really special. But we all know that Ralph wanted to use this special night as a way for her to shut the fuck up and not bring up the issues that they haven't addressed. So I wrote this, in my opinion, him blaming Drew for that night, for her wanting to have a conversation or any type of conversation. And now everything is a problem because he didn't want her to ask any questions. He wanted to keep everything from this moment. And this man said, out of all the things that I've done for this woman, any woman would appreciate of all the things that I've done. But for this woman right here, she's insatiable. Nothing I do makes her happy. I don't like the fact that Ralph always wants to bring what other women would appreciate, what other women would love if I was able to do this for them. You know what, Ralph? If it's so easy and it's just so quick for you to throw that out there that any woman would appreciate what you bring, what you do, then go find one. Go find one. I dare you. Go find another woman who can appreciate the bullshit that you do, that won't question you, that won't challenge you, that won't keep you accountable. Go ahead and find one. Because I don't like you always want to throw what you could do for another woman than what you can do for your own wife. Just making her feel like you are so ungrateful. Ungrateful that I wanted to have a conversation about how you made me feel when this assistant. Really? Okay. So throughout that, they're both arguing. She's trying to talk. He's over talking her about how that night was supposed to be about steak and lobster. She said it wasn't about the steak and lobster. He said no. You know what it was? You know what she deserved? A Lunchable. Drew got quiet. I was like, I want you to jump through the screen and hit him with a frying pan. This man said she deserved a Lunchable, not even a Happy Meal. A Lunchable? Wow, that's what you believe your wife deserved? Drew, how did you do it? Drew, how can you be with this man? What is it? Because this man is breaking you down where you don't want to find nothing better, but this man wants to throw it in your face where he can't find better if you don't act right. I didn't like that at all. And I don't know what this therapist's credentials are, but he didn't do nothing for me. I wrote, in my eyes, the counselor was on Ralph's side because he wanted to understand that Ralph wanted to live in the moment of this grand gesture that he made. But Drew said, okay, well, that's fine, but I don't want to live in the moment, live in bliss when there's still issues lingering on the outside. I can't stay in this love bubble with realizing there are problems still lurking when I come out. So that means that we need to figure out how to resolve it. So the therapist said, you want him to own up to something. Yes. Have you been paying attention? So this is when he gets upset because he's now put into the crossfire to be accountable. But he wanted to shift blame, be on some oldest shit, like put a ring on it, and say, hold up, I'm the problem? It's my fault? Okay, well, let's two can play that game. How about when you said Dr. King called me a maniac? A fucking child. Can't take accountability, can't take ownership, can't stay on the island of the bullshit that he caused, wants to bring somebody else in and say, it's not my fault, it's her fault too. Blame her. Look what she did. I'm like, at the end of the day, Ralph, you started that entire dinner with bringing up what Dr. Ken said. You brought him up first. Then when Drew hit you back, you couldn't take it. So he feels like it's a one-sided conversation, which is not. So since he said that, Ralph said, listen, at the end of the day, don't bring up what Dr. Ken said because I'm not in your marriage. This is y'all marriage that y'all want to figure out. So don't bring me up. And you guys attack each other. Do y'all not see how you guys go toe-to-toe, attack one another? You guys see that? And you guys need to make a change if you want to treat each other with respect and treat each other with love. This isn't going to work. So he gives them a 30-day agreement. No fighting, no fussing, no cussing under any circumstances. Drew wants to know, okay, what happens if we break it? Ralph looked at her like, for real? So you don't want to fix it? Oh, you want to fight? No, Drew. No, Ralph, it's not that. It's because you might do some slick shit on the side where it might not count. And I want to be certain that if anything that he do, where it might be a fight, a cuss, an irritation, anything that the agreement said we're not supposed to do, I'm going to call you out on it. That's why. So the therapist's stupid ass clause was, if anybody was to break the 30-day agreement, Ralph, Drew is your servant for the next 24 hours. And I believe from him, he might want sex 5 times a day. Why the fuck would that be your first thing to do? Why would that be the first thing you think of for a man to want from his woman? Sex 5 times a day? Really? I don't like this therapist. This therapist is very biased. This therapist is very misogynistic. But he also said if Ralph breaks the clause, then Drew can have him do what she wants him to do. Maybe take care of the kids for a whole day. Maybe do this and do that. I said, oh, okay. But again, I still didn't like this therapist. I didn't like him at all. So if you don't want to be each other's servant 24 hours, then don't blow up. Don't have any arguments, no fussing, no fighting for the next 30 days. So she wants this marriage to work. She wants to marry for forever. She got her prayer oil, her anointing oil. And maybe this trip to New York could be a first step into getting their marriage back on track. I guess. Go ahead, knock yourself out. So everybody is packing for New York, and Candy give them a surprise invite or a surprise treat. A surprise treat, courtesy of Candy Coated Nights. It is Safari, Miriam, and Patrick in a dominatrix, bondage, BDSM, walk like a dog leash situation. That's what that Instagram was about when I see them all changing their outfits and twirling and stuff. So everybody was like, oh my God, what is this? I've only been in Science, I've only been in Atlanta for a couple of weeks, and this is the second time I've had a huge surprise at my door. What's going on here? And yes, I was here for the invite, though I'm not gonna lie. It was very interesting, but I was like, Kim, you sent your nephew and your future niece-in-law in this bondage dominatrix outfit to give them some treats and toys and stuff? You really like your nephew in a dog leash like this? Okay. Well, we figured that because, Safari runs him like a dog anyway. Kenya was like, oh my God. Kenya was like, Candy, I did not expect this type of invite. How about a playbill? How about what's going on for New York? I did not want to see this and some toys and all that type of stuff. I don't want to see some pasty shit. Then she asked Safari, "Are you cold?" Safari said, "No." I bet she weren't. So everybody was shocked of the treats and toys that Candy brought them. And of course, Safari gave a memo from Candy. You guys enjoy these treats and bring them to you within New York. Bring them with you to New York. So some of her bedroom candy, vibrating panties, I think some pasties, some toys and stuff. I was here for it. I was here for the invite. I would have a really good time just looking at this and playing with the toys. The vibrating panties, I was really intrigued. What else would happen? Right, so it had nothing to do with the play, of course, but it was just an interesting invite. And Marlo wasn't surprised because Candy is a freak. And Marlo does nothing but shop all day. But then Drew called her and said, "Did you get the invite?" And she went into her drawers and said, she don't know nothing about this. She had glitter thongs and rhinestone G-strings and stuff like that. So since Candy don't want anybody to arrive late, like everybody else is arriving late to things, she rented a Sprinter so everybody can meet up and arrive at the airport on time. So we see everybody arriving with their husbands. Kenya arrives on a Sprinter, realized that everybody brought their husbands on the trip. And she didn't know that it was a couple's trip. But she kind of did, though, because at Brooklyn's party, Drew asked her, "Is it a girls' trip?" She said, "It can be. If you want to bring your partner, bring your partner. It's up to you." So it kind of was an open invite that they agreed to bring their husbands on the trip. So she kind of did let you know, Kenya, you just wasn't really paying that much attention. You really didn't think nobody was going to do it, but they did. So Sheree comes in. She meets Sonya's husband, Roz. It's awkward to be in the same space with Drew and Ralph, but she said if they misbehave, I got receipts on deck. So Marlo comes in. Everybody arrives. Candy said, "Did you guys enjoy your surprise?" Everybody else did but Kenya. She said, "I have much better things on my mind than to put on vibrating panties to roam the streets of New York." Okay? And then they'll stop and see Todd's infamous apartment. And Candy still has an attitude about it. But maybe with her girls on the trip, she could probably see a different feeling about it than she is before. So they arrive at the hotel. They got a penthouse ready. Food is already ready. You know, Candy's always hungry. So they all getting ready to eat. And then Sonya talks about how it's so crazy. When was the last time me and you had a trip together? And you want to talk about bringing another kid in this? Oh, no. Look how easy it was for us to drop off baby Deuce with our parents. Oh, we're going to enjoy this trip. Be kid-free. So Sonya talks about bringing the toys in the New York trip. She's having a good time. And since Candy and Todd got the first penthouse, they want to have a little competition of who's going to get the second penthouse. So they want to know everybody else's crazy sex stories. Sonya says that her and her husband are part of the Mile High Club. They did it in the airport on the way to Dubai. And then Drew wanted to give her some shade and said, "I don't believe that Sonya has ever had any type of sex other than the outside of her bed." I said, "Really, Drew? That's how you feel?" Okay. So Marla makes up a story that she had sex at the zoo and the giraffes was watching and it licked her face. They all believe that's a crock of shit. But like she said, I had to make up a crazy story because they knew they would expect that from me. Sheree says she did it in Miami in broad daylight at the pool. Everybody was watching. I said, "Really, Sheree? That's what happened?" So Ralph talks about the time that Drew and Ralph were in the DR in the middle of the ocean. They were doing it and the whales was watching. I said, "Were you on a boat? Because how could you even think of getting a grip to doing it like that if you guys were in the middle of the ocean? You got to worry about floating. And the whales were watching? How far was y'all out?" Okay. And Kenya talks about having sex in a cavern. She went out with this guy that she really, really liked. And he was in hunting. So he probably took her to a wild preservation area. And my nose. And he was able to, hunt legally. So he thought he clipped a coyote and thought it was dead, but it wasn't. So they followed a trail of blood into this tavern. And after that, I guess got turned on by the blood and the woods and stuff, probably some lumberjackness, musk, and started doing it inside of the tavern. But then while they were getting into it, the coyote wasn't dead. The coyote was alive. And they was like, what the fuck? You mean you tell me you got turned on by coyote blood? You know what? For that type of story, give it to Kenya. Give it to her. She said, it was fun. I liked it. It's a true story, you guys. It's a true story. Candy said, Kenya's story is a bunch of bullshit. But it takes a lot of imagination for that story to come out. I mean, I don't know. You guys ever see those survivor shows where people do have sex in the woods and then you guys be like, you know, under the grid type of stuff? Maybe some people do get turned on by the mountain, the trees, the nature, the bugs, the dirt. Who knows? People have had sex in other places that you never thought they would. But that was hilarious. I mean, kudos to Kenya for drawing up a really thrilling and enticing story. So after that, they all pretty much separate to get ready for going to the apartment and also going out to dinner. So Sonya's getting ready in her room and she's talking to Aaron about, you know, I'm excited for this, but I have no idea what's going on between Sheree and Drew. I mean, they're playing nice right now, but at the tea party, it got really ugly. You know what I'm saying? So Sonya is looking at Drew differently based off of turns of events with Drew, Sheree, and the assistant, right? So she feels like if your assistant is this messy and you're a part of it, does that mean you're equally as messy? Are you the type of friend that I want to be around? So I'm just pretty much, you know, weighing out my options. But I do find it funny that after this, Sonya wants to remove herself. I mean, you didn't remove yourself when Drew invited you into what she was going through. And you did not shy away from being a bone collector in training to tell Marlo what everybody else was talking about. So, Sonya, are you in mess? Or are you inserting a mess that doesn't include husbands? I have no idea. But the fact that you want to separate yourself now after all the mess that you was already volunteering to put in, it's just a little weird. So they're all getting ready for dinner, and Marlo's getting her makeup done. Sheree comes in and just wants to know, what is the plan? We're getting ready to go to the apartment and then dinner. Right. So the fact that they are seeing Todd's apartment, Marlo comes up with the notion that Todd is doing something. And Sheree is co-signing and say, you think he's doing something? I don't know. He got to be doing something, but I don't know. Todd isn't as freaky as Candy. You know, I'm afraid she might stick up something off my hoo-ha or something. I don't know. So if you don't think that he's as sexy, who is underneath them as freaky? She said Ralph and Drew. Excuse me. What I didn't like was the fact that Marlo and Sheree wanted to play on the mindset or play on the character of Todd doing something because he has a condo all the way out in New Jersey. He's from there. He lived there. What are you talking about? So then Drew and Ralph are starting their 30-day commitment of no fighting, no fussing. Let it be about them. Drew wants to continue playing nice with Sheree, especially when it came down to what happened at the tea party, because she found it inexcusable and laughable for Sheree to tell her friend that my husband was something that he is never going to be. But like Ralph said, enjoy this weekend, leave it alone. So we're on the way to the apartment. Sheree is talking to Tyrone about, is he going to meet them later, tomorrow? He said, I think so. I'll give you a call back tonight. So they're arriving to the apartment. Candy is complaining about leaving outside the city. It's not convenient. And Todd wants to use this as a way to hang out with his friends. All of his New York friends, because he tends to act like a college student when he's around them. But Todd was like, for real? That's an issue? You want to make that an issue? Fine. It's just kind of like where Candy is throwing little things to make it seem as if this is a problem that she's constantly having with Todd. But I don't believe this is a problem that she's having with him. She's making up something for a storyline. And Sheree said, I mean, the streets be talking. You know what I'm saying? Then it goes back to the conversation that Portia had with Candy about how Todd goes to New York and uses a fake name to cheat. And Sheree said, I think that Candy has a right to be cautious. Sheree, what are you doing? Why are you playing on the assumption that Todd is doing something wrong or he's acting in an unfaithful manner to Candy because he has a condo out in New Jersey. And all this time, Todd has been saying, that's my place. I mean, that's our place for our kids. I'm bringing you into what I have. What are you talking about? Sheree, is this give back because of what Candy did to you? Okay. I just want to know, because all Todd wants is understanding, because he has done everything that Candy wanted him to do. He married her. He moved in with her. He be with her family. He wants something for him, and he wants something for him. And obviously Candy is used to everything being about her. So the fact that someone else's attention is literally begging for it to be shined on him, she cannot handle it. And Kenya said, Candy is a strong woman, but she's also very spoiled. Todd is very supportive. So the fact that he's asking for you to be open to what he wants and you can't do it because you're so used to everything being about what you want, that can be hard. And Candy has been famous for half her life. But I don't know. Y'all really want to make this out to be a problem? For real? Okay. And then it led to, okay, so what if it was reversed? What if I was able to create something and it blew up? You're going to look at me and say, where do I fit in? Marlo had to come in the confessional and said, I mean, Todd can survive. He can thrive without Candy, but he cannot do without Candy's money. Y'all make it seem as if Todd is really out here just begging for scraps. Like he has nothing else to hold his own. He has no credentials. He can't do nothing for himself without having Candy on it. He's already done that and then some. All right, y'all. I'm going to move on. So they arrive at the condo. Needs a little work. It's a fixer-upper. And they see Kenya and her HGTV renovations with Kenya. Basically, she can think of a whole lot of ways y'all can make this a beautiful place to live if done properly. Redo the kitchen, redo the bathroom, add a fireplace, change this spiral staircase, add an elevator, open up these windows, open up this, and y'all can have a gorgeous condo. Just hire me, okay? Just hire me. I'll do you right. So all the ladies were around and wanted to know, what do you guys think? Well, I mean, I don't get a sense that there was a couple living here. I don't get a woman's presence. I think this is a really nice place, and I think Candy should keep it. So Sheree now says, I do understand Todd's reasoning to keep it. It's not Chateau Sheree, and it's not Marlon's plot of dirt, but it is a nice condo. So I understand why he wants to keep it. And it just needs a little fixing up. That's it. And that's all it needed. So they want to ask Candy, how does she feel about it? After seeing the place, after hearing about it for so long, now seeing it. Ralph said, I like it. It's cool. Is your name Candy? No, Ralph, sit down. So Candy still don't understand what am I supposed to feel now seeing. I still don't get it. What you want me to do? But either way, Todd said, I knew everybody's going to be on my side because I have nothing else to hide. There's something I want to invite us in. And I can leave this for my kids. I'm about to be 50. I'm on the other side. So I want to leave this for them and add this to the portfolio. So they all leave to go for a pre-selected menu. And Sonya noticed that Candy and Drew aren't wearing their wedding rings. So she wanted an explanation. Candy said, I don't really wear mine, to be honest. But Candy isn't really a jewelry type of person. Not like that. She wears rings ever so often. Sonya asked Todd, does he wear his ring? He wears his ring faithfully, thanks to the production. And Ralph, you wear your ring. I'm doing air quotes when it comes to Ralph and his ring. So then Sonya wanted an explanation from Drew. Why isn't Drew wearing hers? Her first ring she got, it didn't fit. Then after she had the kids, we tend to gain weight in certain places. Her finger got fat, so it didn't fit. And she hasn't been wearing it lately. And she said, I'm sorry, I should have wore it, but we've been going through some things. But then thanks to production to showcase that Drew has been wearing her ring since last season. And even in the therapy session, where they were going through what they need to do, the camera was panning through Ralph's hand and then went to Drew's hand. I said, you guys are so freaking shady. Why y'all do that to her? But to me, I wrote, I don't know why Sonya needed an explanation why Drew wasn't wearing her ring. Because a lot of people don't wear their rings. It doesn't mean anything. It all depends on the couple. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have taken my ring off a couple of times, but I've always really forgot to put it back on because I wouldn't want any lotion or oil to get inside my ring. My husband got on me a couple of times about why I wasn't wearing my ring. I would explain to him, oh, I was washing dishes. Oh, I was putting lotion on and I forgot to put it back on. He really got upset because he felt like that was a slap in the face. But I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it again because he never takes his ring off. Never. There is a tan line there that is 6 years in that has never taken off, okay? And I have mine too, but I just feel like, Sonya, what was the reason why you need an explanation? Why? Why was it of your concern to glue in on Drew's hand that she wasn't wearing her ring? I'm just going to move on. So then they explained how they're doing a 30-day challenge. Candace said y'all going to be restarting that challenge and y'all never going to get to a better place. Marlo asked about the assistant. Ralph said that he fired the assistant, but he's at that point where, when does Drew get over it? Can she get over it, please? I'm tired of her getting over it. I want her to get over it so she can stop asking me. But if you want her to hurry up and get over it, are you admitting to doing things you weren't supposed to be doing? Are you admitting that you acted inappropriately with an assistant? Is that what you're doing, Ralph? Kenya said, with time and reassurance. Have you reassured Drew with what you did? Have you given her the space and time to trust and believe you and work through it? Have you given that to her? So Candy said, I mean, you got to admit it, though. It looked a little crazy. Then Ralph started getting misogynistic, calling Drew dumb for not understanding a situation that she didn't know the full understanding of it. I don't need to know the full understanding. You hired an assistant. She gave an inappropriate conversation. You engaged in it. In the story. So Drew's face, full of pain, full of hurt. And Kenya spoke up and said, you remind me so much of Marc. It's crazy. Because Kenya can see how Drew is hurt. And she can see how the conversations, in this conversation right now, that Ralph is treating her this way. But then he said, listen, you act like I went and found an assistant with a big butt. Is that what I did? Even in that type of mindset, you already knew that you went and did something that made your wife feel away. And you're not understanding that. So it's extremely frustrating that you don't know how she cannot feel away with what you're doing. And he said, we were going through growing pains. I decided to hire an assistant and it caused problems. Why would you hire an assistant when you and your wife haven't gone through any issues? Y'all still have issues, so hiring an assistant made it worse. And Kenya said, he's an asshole. No, he's an asshole because I've seen the way he speaks to her. It's the same way that Marc speaks to me. And it flashes back to last season when Marc would say that Kenya don't pay attention. Her revision history is wonky. He couldn't even give a compliment about how Brooklyn looks like his mother, looks like her mother. He couldn't even do that. And I didn't like the fact that he wanted to call her Ken to keep her straight, to keep her from not acting out. Right, Ken? Right, Ken? I didn't like that. Marc was an asshole. And the fact this asshole wants money from her house, for his legal fees, get the fuck out of here. And next episode, oh, I can't wait. So the argument, and he's still making her feel invalid. And all King is telling him, you're tearing her down. You're making her feel invalid. You're not validating her feelings. You're making her feel like what she's thinking is crazy. You're saying she's lying, that what happened isn't what happened. It's all in her imagination, right? So the fact that Kenya was speaking up to how Drew was feeling, she can honestly understand. And look what Kenya did. She divorced his ass. Drew does not want to let this marriage go. She wants to fight. Don't know why. But then Ralph was laughing. He was laughing to get out of drama. He was laughing to get out of being accountable, which was stupid. It was irritating. And from that point, everybody was like, okay, listen. Marlo said, Ralph, I'm going to get off you, and I'm going to go straight to Drew, okay? Because I feel like we can't just place this on Ralph. Drew, you are at fault, too, because he's doing what you allow. And this is when Sonya pops up and say, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's both sides. It's both sides. I feel like, well, damn, Sonya, how long did you keep that in? Because to me, I felt like you was on Drew's side when she told you what happened. Now you want to say, oh, it's both sides now. Switching up, I see. So basically, the connection what makes it both Ralph and Drew's fault is because you guys both don't admit when you're wrong. You guys both can't take accountability. And Drew wants to know, what if I not take accountability on? What if I not let go of? Well, Kenya said we've all had fights with Drew. She can never let things go. And it brings up the conversation between you and Sheree. Can you admit that you were wrong for not only not only, but you did talk to Kenya about it, and it continued on to you finding more information from Anthony, still never telling Sheree what's up, and then you wanted to defend your assistant in front of Sheree, and still wanted to say, well, he said this. Well, you're the one that's repeating what he said, and you're not giving Sheree the opportunity to say, okay, well, that's a lie. But then Drew said, I'm the type of person that won't start none, won't be none. Sheree is the same way. But I also feel like, Sheree, you're not exempt either, because while Anthony told you about Drew's stuff, you didn't tell her what happened. You told your friend. So Drew and Sheree are both of not owning up that they did not tell each other what they heard from the assistant. The assistant is the main culprit. Anthony is the culprit in all of this. And they want Drew to understand, while you're defending a man who started the whole thing, he was the one that told Sheree your business. He was the one that said that Ralph was gay. Drew said, I don't have any evidence of that. Sheree couldn't wait to give this receipt out. Couldn't wait. It was a picture that Anthony sent her. A picture of Dennis, Portia baby daddy, and Ralph. And it read, I have more information, stay tuned. And the guy, and that Ralph was gay. He said, who said that? Anthony said I was what? Gay. Who said that again? Anthony said I was gay? Yes. And that was the end of the episode. So that's going to be continuing on. And that was pretty much crazy. I really could not understand how all of that happened. It was really mind-blowing. I love the fact that Kenya stood up for Drew, but also made Drew accountable for your energy. You need to direct it towards more your husband and not bring it towards the girls, because we're not your enemies. And direct your energy towards the enemy, which is your husband and your assistant. He needs to be fired. But that's it, you guys. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.